Hey, this is Matt once again. We're back to another video, and this is a paid request for Thompson. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, whether it be a topic, tier list, ranking, movie review, re-review, thought streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, or full playthrough, random thoughts, whatever the case may be, PayPal's the best way to do it. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box that I'll get to as soon as I possibly can. So thank you for that. Now this is for the 2025 film Love Hurts. Now, Love Hurts is from 87 North Productions. I know they were called 8711. It's the same production company that was involved with the John Wick films, Violent Night, Bullet Train. I think they were involved with Nobody, with Bob Odenkirk. The Fall Guy that came out a year or two ago. What was the other one? Day Shift, which I really enjoyed. And they were involved with this. And I liked a lot of their productions. I do. And the way the action is stylized, and how for the most part the pacing's pretty quick, and in a way it's kind of like canon films, that company back in the day, where a lot of times if I see that company name, more than likely I feel like I'm in somewhat good hands. For a guy who's into action films, action is my favorite genre. And it's from a first-time director. I can't pronounce his last name, but his first name is Jonathan. He did second unit direction on Deadpool 2, Violent Night, and it's directed by, well, it stars Ke Huy Quan. Now, Ke Huy Quan, he was in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom as Short Round. He was in The Goonies as Data. He had a bit part in Encino Man, and he won an Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I knew he dealt with martial arts because he was in this film called Breathing Fire back in the day. Also, I think he was a coordinator or something on X-Men? Because I remember seeing footage with him working with people. I want to say it's one of the X-Men movies. Could be wrong on that. And that's the thing, he was gone for a while. He would just do stuff behind the scenes. So it's great to see he's got a resurgence. I don't know how long that will last, because films like this bombed. Like, this was a massive failure. It cost $18 million. It only made $17 million worldwide. I think $15 million was in the US. It debuted, I think, number 3 or number 4 with $5 million, and then it just pretty much went away and disappeared. Now, you think about it, Nobody didn't make as much money as you would think. That only made like $29 million in the US and $50-some million worldwide. But I guess that was enough of a profit, especially with other avenues that they're doing a sequel, Nobody 2. But this, I can't imagine this is anything other than a failure. Which is too bad, because while I do think the film has its problems, I do think the film has its issues, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I don't think it was as bad as its There are things I don't like about it. Again, I'm not going to say it's perfect. I would say I like Day Shift more, the first 3 John Wick films more, Bullet Train more. I probably would say I like The Fall Guy more. Nobody, I would say I liked more. But it's a short film. It's an hour and 23 minutes with the end credits. Ke Huy Quan, I think, it depends how much you liked the guy. I quite liked the guy, so it was great to see him as the lead. It was great to see him use his martial arts abilities. You could tell it's him doing it. And he's still as fast as ever. He's still quick and agile, and he knows how to do his things. That's why I wish we could see him in more stuff like that as the star, but based on the low performance of this, not anytime soon. Some of the sense of humor I did like. Some of the action scenes I thought were fun, and had a little bit of that Jackie Chan inventiveness with the the environment, using the environment to your advantage. I thought the fight scene he has at the end with his brother, I thought was an exciting fight. It's definitely R-rated. And again, for a movie that's only 87 minutes long, it definitely does not overstay its welcome. And Ke Huy Quan is great. Like, that's the fight scenes when they're there, which is really the first third and the last third of the film. That's one of the issues I have with it. But when the fight scenes are there, and Ke Huy Quan, he's just so likable. He just seems like such a nice, sweet Harvard guy. And you feel that vibing out of him. Just vibration of goodwill. That for me, it's hard to not root for him. It's hard for me not to root for not just in real life, but in the movie. And he's this guy who's in real estate, and this is a plot that you've seen before. In fact, I would say this plot is fairly similar, not the same, but similar to Nobody. And I say that where it's a guy who wants to live a normal life, has a regular job, but he's pulled back in to his former life. He's got to do some action where at times he's people trying to kill him. He's got to defend himself, all this other stuff. Granted, there's a lot of other differences as well. For example, in this, the reason this has happened is because he let this girl go, who his brother wanted him to kill. His brother ran this criminal organization, used his brother, Ke Huy Quan, as an enforcer. Sorry, damn, I don't know why I'm losing my voice. As an enforcer. He says, if you want to leave, you gotta kill this girl. And what is this actress's name? Ariana DeBose. And yes, I might have screwed up her name. I don't care. Because she's one of the things I did not like about this film. I forgot her damn character name, which is ridiculous because they mention her character name all the damn time. But I think my brain just wanted to forget. Rose. Yeah, duh, Rose. I'll just call her by character name Rose. She played Calypso and Craven the Hunter. She's that. I guess she won an Oscar for the Steven Spielberg film West Side Story. I guess that's why she's getting all these roles, but I didn't see that film because I didn't give a shit. I thought she sucked in Craven, and she sucks in this. I think she's the worst thing about this film, because the middle portion is about the love story, and they don't have chemistry because of her. She fucking sucks. I don't like her character. Her character is too cocky. Her character is too sure of herself. There's no piece of humble pie, and I would be fine if the bad guys killed her sorry ass. I just don't like her. She's the one flaw in this, which is why I put it below Nobody and some of these other films, Violent Night, Day Shift, among others. Because that has to work. If you want the love, it was released around Valentine's Day, and on a tangent, I could probably see why this bombed. And again, I don't think it deserved to bomb. I liked the film. I will get to why I liked the film in a bit. I think it's a fun film. I haven't seen many films this year. I've only seen, Captain America, and I would say technically this is my number one film so far this year. But again, I've only seen like 4 or 5 films that came out this year. But I would say so far, this is probably number one. But people they're getting tired of the John Wick type of action films. I'm not tired of it because I love that kind of stuff. But we had like a decades of the shaky cam shit from the Bourne films and the Taken sequels, Taken 2, Taken 3, Columbiana, that era of shitty action films. I love the first Taken, but the sequels, I hate them. I do not like the Bourne films. I do not like Columbiana. So when I see that gets CGI it's still R-rated, and the moves, I can see what's going on, as people know what they're doing, and like, this is my kind of action, and it's still fun to see, and I'll take as much as we can compared to all the superhero shit or the past shaky cam shit. So I'm not tired of it, but I think there's a lot of people who are. So they see the trailer, they go, "Oh, this seems like a movie I would just watch on streaming. It seems like a movie that just, have you seen Nobody? Have you seen some of these other films? Okay, it's the same bit. There's going to be a simple plot, and then there's going to be, I mean, but that's what I lived and breathed back to the day. Simple plot, but whether it starred Jean-Claude Van Damme or Lorenzo Lamas or Jeff Speakman, you just want to see him kick some ass, take some names, as you have this plot kind of carry you through the story. But I do think there's a chunk of people that are tired of that, and so they just go, I'll just watch it on streaming. Not go see it in the theater. Like Nobody 2, I don't know if that will do well. I guess we'll see. Also, Ke Huy Quan, let's be honest, he's not a star. He was great, but is he the guy that puts butts in seats? No. Sally's not. There's people that like, I mean, sadly, even I didn't see this in the theater, because even I went, I'll catch it on streaming. So I'm at fault as well. Because even I'm like, I look forward to it, but I'll just catch it on streaming. It didn't feel like a movie I needed to go pay an inordinate amount of money, if I learn how to talk, to go see in a theater. But at the same time, then they will. I'm part of the problem, because then that means they will not keep making those kind of films. I know it's a catch-22. Things are tough all over. It is what it is. But getting back to the film itself, I don't have any ways to rectify it. I'm just saying I don't think this film's as bad as an 18% on Rotten Tomatoes or a 5.2 or whatever on IMDb. I don't think it's that bad of a movie. But yeah, Ke Huy Quan, he's definitely the MVP. He's this real estate guy who loves his job. He bakes cookies for his clients. He has his assistant and tries to give her pep talks. He's always chipper and happy and just positive energy flowing out of him. And then one day he's at his office, and this guy named Raven, who's a poetry-loving assassin, says, "Hey, I've been hired by your brother. We got the... Ke Huy Quan had gotten this card. It was like a Valentine's Day card. And it seems like Rose is back in town. Other people know it. They go, wait a minute, you were supposed to kill her years and years ago. How come she's still alive?" And pretty quickly, the assassin Raven and Ke Huy Quan get into a fight. And again, when the action scenes are there, I think they work very well. I think the way the camera is situated, I think how they try to make it funny works. Like, this assassin likes to use knives and also use these darts with like feathers on them. And so Ke Huy Quan tries to do it, and it just you out of practice, huh? And they go back. And Ke Huy Quan, he knows how to move. He's quick, he's fast, he's agile. He did do the moves well. I think just as fast and coordinated as someone like Jackie Chan or anybody else. So, very impressive. Especially, I mean, he's not a spring chicken either. Like, for his age, he does very well, I thought. And it did great to see him. I didn't, other than if you watch Breathing Fire or a film or two back in the day, he had a little bit of fight at everything everywhere all at once, to be fair. But to really be the center of it, that was great to see. That's appealing to me. But if you don't care about Ke Huy Quan, then I don't know how appealing to you. But I do think he plays a lovable character. And the way he's coordinated, like I don't know if I want to give it away. I'll go into spoilers for a bit, but I'll say that I'll get into the action scenes in a specific way. There's a couple action scenes at the beginning where he fights one assassin, then he fights these two assassins. Those are very fun. The first, again, 30 minutes or so, 20 minutes goes very well. Sean Astin, it was cool to see him in there. He plays Ke Huy Quan's boss. Of course, in my mind, I'm always thinking, you two were in the Goonies. And they have like a friendly rapport. I wish we could have seen a little bit more of that. And Sean Astin, I thought he actually had some sweet moments in this. One in particular later on in the film. Didn't realize he got pretty big, but it is age catches up with all of us. But it was nice to see Sean Astin there. Nice to have a little bit of Goonies reunion there. Or even hell, Encino Man, because Sean Astin was in Encino Man, and Ke Huy Quan's in there for a tiny bit. When Rose catches up with him, tases him, and then we get into the plot of there's exposition, flashback of what happened, and faking her death, and them like trying to get to know each other again. The movie slows down too much. I wouldn't say it becomes a slog because it's still a pretty short film, but the middle portion there's really no action. It's they're talking, and then she has this guy kidnapped, and then what are we going to do with this guy? And then again a little bit of flashbacks, and then a little bit of the villains and what they're up to. It's not because the love story doesn't work, because I think this Rose character doesn't work. Ariana DeBose, you fucking suck ass. I don't care if you won an Oscar. Maybe that's the one role you did well. I didn't see it, so I don't care to see it because I don't give a shit about West Side Story. Don't give a fuck. I'm just saying, based on you as Calypso and Craven and this, you fucking suck ass. Your character's written like shit. She's cocky. She's always like smarmy. She got like a little attitude problem. She just came off as very unlikable to me. And I don't see the sparks between her and Ke Huy Quan is trying. He's trying. He is not the problem. She's the problem. She has no sparks with him. I think they did a bad casting job. They did a terrible casting choice. And she was not written that well either. And considering this is a portion that is the love story aspect, that becomes the weakest part of it. Because you really want these two to really be simpatical with each other. It doesn't work because one is a rotten egg. So, Ariana DeBose, fuck, you suck. You fucking sucked. So there's not much action in the middle. But then it picks up, thankfully, in the third act. When all the characters get to... Well, most of the characters get into one location. There's an action scene. Then you have an action scene where he's fighting his brother's guards. And then his brother one-on-one. That stuff is good. That stuff works well. That stuff is fun. That stuff... Ke Huy Quan and the action scenes. I even didn't mind some of the assassins. I thought they worked well. The guy who played Raven, I didn't mind him. He had a good look to him. He was good with his movements. It sounds sad. It's kind of the women in this kind of was the turn off, really. Because even his assistant, Ke Huy Quan's assistant, who's got the stupid fucking nose ring I wanted to fucking pull on. You're not a pig. Just pull on the... The nose ring looks fucking ugly. It was distracting. And she's on her emo trip. Shut the fuck up. Put a dick in your mouth and smile. Okay? Shut the fuck up. I don't care about your problems. You cry, baby. Maybe you should quit. They fight. Quit. Quit acting. I don't give a fuck. Quit. Like, literally, the two women were the two problems in the movie. I didn't even think of that till now. There's two women in the movie. Well, unless the people that they show the houses to as part of the real estate thing. But main character-wise, two of them, they both sucked. But, again, there's enough there that I did think it was an enjoyable film. Yes, I did. Getting more into spoilers. Ke Huy Quan, when he's fighting the assassin, I like the fact that he takes a pencil, sharpens it, and stabs the guy, and then he's got this stapler, this teeny stapler, is stapling him around. I thought that was funny. Able to trip him up and hit the guy, and I thought the camera, the way it follows with him, ready to get knocked down, and Ke Huy is able to slide the pillow under him. I thought the way the camera work was done, the choreography made it funny. Ke Huy Quan's reactions, very good with his face in showing surprised or anger. Definitely wears his emotions on his face. It's not just a blank, far from a blank piece of wood like some actors are. He was the MVP of this. Another one, like in Sean Astin, great to see him as the boss, and you tell they care for each other, and he gives him this diploma, and you tell Ke Huy really cares for this because he's always trying to keep it close to him as much as he can. Later on, there's these other two thugs, Teen and Otis, and Ke Huy Quan gets wrecked. I mean, he's throwing about, he's giving, now, face planted, spitting blood out of the mouth, but then he's able to get some good kicks in, kicked him in the nuts. He's trying to keep his diploma. And then again, some nice camera work where you see the diploma put into the microwave and then the camera's right behind it, showing the point of view of the microwave. So either Ke Huy Quan's getting beaten up or other people are. And then you see it put into the fridge. You see the POV from inside the fridge. So I thought that was cool. The different type of camera angles and POVs they had. Thought that was fun. Him using cookie cutters to hit and punch the guy and beat him up, and then kick this one guy in the nuts and give him some good. So he just beating up. He does give. It's a give or take thing. He gives as good as he gets. Is what I'm saying. It's a fun fight. It has this charm to it. That's where he crashes to a guy that go outside, hits this guy with his lawn gnome, traps this guy, his gun trapped to this piece of wood or whatever, and then that's the scene where Ke Huy Quan then goes over each of the fences. Then Rose finds him and tases him. And that's when the film kind of loses it for a bit. Because the story about Rose's flashback, where she was blamed for taking this money, and he was supposed to kill her, but he didn't. He says, disappear, don't come back. And of course we realize he did this because he loves her. Meanwhile, this other guy that works for Ke Huy Quan's brother is Cam Gigandet. Gigandet. He was in Pandorum. He's been in other stuff. He's not that great of an actor. He's a very just blah. That's what I'm talking about. Like Ke Huy Quan really shows him his motions and on his face. This guy doesn't. I never thought he was that great of a performer. He's the one who screwed over Rose, and Rose has the bad guy's accountant and can find out the numbers and how really Cam, you screwed over the Ke Huy Quan's brother, the other bad guy, and then you try to pin it on me. But in Ke Huy Quan's brother's an evil guy as well. There's this nice scene with Sean Astin where he comes in trying to find Ke Huy Quan, and then there's the brother character there. It's like, yeah, yeah, he's my brother. And you tell that the guy doesn't like that. He doesn't like hearing that. He doesn't like hearing that Ke Huy Quan never mentioned him. I said, well, the thing is, he's got one brother. But what I liked about the scenes was I thought Sean Astin did a really good job. That with the little role he had, he brought a nice little emotional moment where first he goes, listen, I may not be in your world, but I'm not naive enough that I think I know what's going to happen. So, can I get that drink? Well, because Ke Huy Quan's character is Marvin, he goes, well, when push comes to shove, Marvin, I think it's going to be alright. And then you really hate the bad guy because that he takes something and stabs him right in the fucking eye, which is pretty brutal. So you definitely want this guy taken out. So I felt bad because, I mean, there you go. I mean, he is barely in the film, but I felt bad for the character's death. And you want to see the villain get his comeuppance. But yeah, the middle portion just felt very kind of slow and just kind of, the action, there was no action, and I don't give a fuck about Rose. If I gave a fuck, then maybe this stuff would be enticing or interesting. So instead, it gets to a point where these people come in because he takes Rose to one of the houses, part of his real estate deal. Some people come in to see the house, so he's trying to, either get them to look around to leave. But then the Raven guy comes in, who's with Ke Huy Quan's assistant, because she fell in love with the guy. And then those two assassins, Teen and Otis, come by. I do like Ke Huy Quan look at Raven and go, same team, huh? Because they don't kill you like they don't kill me. Same team? And then just his joyful jubilance is infectious. I mean, I would rather this be without the love story. Which I know, I mean, it's called Love Hurts, but the love story aspect hurt this film to me. If this was literally about him trying, like, the same setup, but instead his brother wants him back, and he's like, no, I like my life. No, tough titty, you don't work for me again. I gave you a few years, now it's done. Now, forget about this charade. He's like, no. He sends people to beat him up and take him back. And then Sean Astin is looking for him, and then he gets murdered. And then this guy gave me a chance. He was my friend. He was more my brother than you are. Then now he wants revenge for the death of Sean Astin's character, his new friend. I think, honestly, that would have made a better movie. Bros before hoes. I mean, I really do. I really do think that would have been a better narrative, a better movie, a better film. I really, truly do. But that's not the case. Now, again, when it gets to the third act and the action starts up again, and it's either Ke Huy Quan trying to avoid the gunfire, Raven helping out and fighting these two assassins. The two assassins, they grab there's a giant spoon and fork that's on the wall, and they're using that as weapons. There's this guy who's kind of this douchebag rival real estate guy who thinks he's a martial arts guy. And he comes in, and Ke Huy's like, what are you doing? Get out of here. Hey, no, I'll help, and this is so exciting. And then immediately gets shot in the head, and you see how graphic it is. I will admit that made me laugh. That kind of dark humor did make me laugh. And Raven, I mean, I liked his persona. I liked his vibe. I don't know how else to put it. So him find these two guys I didn't mind. Because we saw Ke Huy Quan beat these two guys. Now we see this guy beat these two guys. Some good stunt work. He kind of hits both of them. They fly back. I understood what was going on, editing wise, choreography wise. Ke Huy Quan goes over to find Rose. I think it's like a video store that his brother has or owns. And he fights the thugs. Now, granted, find the thugs, you saw a bit of that in the trailer. Good choreography. I'm trying to think of any details, though, about that fight. Oh, he stabs a guy by a jukebox, and he stabs him so hard it changes the song in the jukebox. So yeah, the fights are fun. Like he knows what he's doing. Like Ke Huy Quan definitely knows what he's doing on that. I didn't give a shit that Rose got in on the action with her taser gun. Again, I wish she wasn't in this. If you deleted that character, this would have been a much better movie, in my opinion. Just delete that character. Now, granted, one raw egg is not going to spoil the whole batch of eggs for me, but it's still a raw egg. And it's still there. Like, possibility of infection. And I like the fight he has with his brother. I like that they acknowledge Sean Astin. And you see a look on Ke Huy Quan's face. I like that the bad guy has the cowboy hat. And Ke Huy Quan picks it up and cleans it. And then puts it up as a sign of respect. I like that. I like that they have that, at least that bit of knowledge, at least that bit of respect. I appreciate that. And definitely I thought was the best fight in the movie was between the two of them, because the two definitely know what they're doing. And I don't want to get too in detail of the fight. Being nice bits, grabbing the bat, breaking the bat, beats the shit out of him. And then doesn't need to kill him because Rose realized this guy messed with the Russians. So they contacted the Russians, and the Russians don't take the brother away and do whatever they can. So he's going to get just desserts. So while I do think it has some fun action, I mean, there's not really any car chases. Like a film like Nobody worked. I've just compared it to because there's a sequel to Nobody coming out this year. That worked because when the action wasn't on screen, the story of a guy who's kind of not sure where he wants to be, where he wants to take care of his family, but at the same time, this normal life. But then there's something keeps biting into him. Something is ticking in his brain. So that's where he fights those guys on the bus. And like something ready to explode. Like it's a bit more interesting story. And then with support, you got people like Christopher Lloyd. That gives some nice surprise moments. Even I always forget his name. Find out it was his brother. I don't know why I can't remember his damn name. I don't want to be mad at myself. I'm like, oh, duh. What was his damn name again? Can't believe I can't remember his damn name. RZA. Of course, see that again. The RZA. How did I forget the RZA? And because the finale, where the finale was at, and the different traps and stuff they did, so it made it a bit more unique. While this is, fighting the guys and fighting his brother, and this does seem like a movie that would have gone more streaming, Netflix or something, and not in theaters. It does seem more of a streaming type of movie. But I mean, hell, to be honest, I did look around when this came out, and this was even it wasn't even in theaters around me, so I guess I couldn't even see it if I wanted to in theaters. Because, not every theater gets every release, especially if some people think it's not going to be, well, this is a superhero movie or some shit. Plus, it's like 30 some minutes away, so anyway. The film itself, I still like the film. I think, to repeat myself, the beginning and ending action scenes and Ke Huy Quan's performance makes it worth at least one watch. Is it a film I'm going to rewatch a lot? I would rewatch it again, sure, for him and for those bits. I would just fast forward a bit of the middle, because, again, the Rose character, every rose has its thorns, and this has a thorn that hurts like a bitch in heat. Fuck Rose. Like I said, you're just taking that character out. But it's sad. I mean, this is his time to shine, to star in a film, and it bogged down by this middle portion and that. It just... And then it didn't do well, so that means more than likely he's not going to get a lot of other chances to star in a film. It's a shame. So I didn't think the film was as bad as some people made out to be. I liked it, but I would put Day Shift, and nobody... Would I put Violent Night above this? Because that was also a movie that had kind of a slower middle portion. But the uniqueness of the Santa stuff, maybe I would. Although I'd probably say I like Ke Huy Quan more than David Harbour. I don't know. I actually have to think about that one. Whether I like this more or less than Violent Night. I have to think about it. Love Hurts might edge it. Might edge it over the more I think. I don't know. I have to think about that. Again, the more I think. Anyway. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.